What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, gonna do a little bit different of a video than normal. Gonna be doing a mock draft in this one, but it's going to be a little different. It's going to be a positional mock draft. And so I've never done one of these before, which is actually pretty funny to think about. But we saw Kevin Bowen did one last year, and Cody thought of a good idea for it. So I thought I'd give it a try. And so this is, of course, a positional mock draft where, you focus on a particular position that you want to focus on in a specific round, not a specific player. Okay. So again, there are a lot, and this was actually very hard for me. Okay. I'm going to say that right off the top. This was hard for me to do because I could see a million different directions that the Indianapolis Colts could go for in all of these rounds. So forgive me, okay? Forgive me. And, again, I'll bring it up on some things that could be done also. But I just wanted to say, just from my perspective here, if I'm having to stick with one position only, then I would understand, okay? So let's start this. Okay, so first round. So the Indianapolis Colts at the 14th pick in the first round of the draft. My focus here, if I'm the Indianapolis Colts, has to be tight end. The tight end position has to be a main focus of the Indianapolis Colts, not just in the first round, but the entire draft in general. Early on, there's going to be a lot of different tight ends, but I do feel that early on, you should be focusing on tight end in the first round. I think that for tight end, first round is a couple different reasons. One, if Tyler Warren is there at 14, or even if you feel like you need to trade up to get Tyler Warren, like not necessarily trading up into the top 8 or something like that, not that crazy. I mean, like if you're going to trade up like 2 or 3 spots at the most, then that's what I would say. But if Tyler Warren is available, you take it. There should not be much of a choice in the difference in the matter. And then obviously, if Tyler Warren is not available by the time the Indianapolis Colts get there, you have the option to trade back. And you could get a tight end like a Colston Loveland or something along those lines, right? That would be your option if Tyler Warren was there. Obviously, other people will say, if there's other options, you can go offensive line, you can go linebacker. There's a couple different ways. But the main focus should be trying to get a really, really dynamic playmaker at tight end. Because right now you don't have one. And the Indianapolis Colts have had a terrible group of tight ends over the last few years. It has not worked out, and you don't really have someone in that tight end group that can make a difference for Anthony Richardson. Tyler Warren can be that guy. So that's where I would go with round 1. And again, like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can approach round 1, and there's a couple other ways that if Tyler Warren wouldn't be available that the Colts could go with. And I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying if Tyler Warren is there, or if you have the option to trade back and get Colston Loveland, if the Colts think that's the best option, then do that. Because you need a dynamic weapon offensively in the tight end group. All right, so for the second round, when it comes to pick number 45 for the Indianapolis Colts, so I think that this would be a great spot for the Indianapolis Colts to take an offensive lineman in this spot. There's the possibility of a couple different guys falling in this area, in this part of the second round, that I think could be very good depth for the Indianapolis Colts, regardless if it is a tackle or a guard. Doesn't really matter. Obviously, the Colts could potentially get some offensive line depth still in free agency as we go, which they definitely should. I know you have Wesley French. I know you have Danny Pinter back with you, which is, good for center depth. but you don't have guard depth and you don't have tackle depth right now. Blake Freeland is your only tackle depth, and you need more. And you obviously need guard help, because if Matt Gonsalves is going to be the right guard, then you need somebody to back you up. So, regardless of what the Colts need to do, and again, that was where I was saying offensive line could be the first rounder for the Indianapolis Colts if they needed a right guard in the future. I don't know. But in this particular spot, I think that there are going to be several names available in that mid-second round that are you're going to be able to get a good one in that particular place to make you better suited for the future with the depth. Okay, so going into round 3, I think that defensive tackle could be a good one here. I think there could be a couple guys that fall to pick number 80. And I think the Indianapolis Colts could really go for a defensive tackle that, can be that third defensive tackle behind DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart. Because right now, you don't really have anyone. And the Indianapolis Colts need to find a playmaker at defensive tackle that's going to make things better for them. So 100% going to be would like to take a defensive tackle there. I know people mention the running back room. I know people have mentioned cornerback and tight end and other things like that. Again, you can go a lot of different directions in that particular order. So I'm not going to dispute that. 4th round, I'm going to go linebacker, actually. So if the Colts haven't already addressed linebacker, this is where they would grab one here, because, again, another reason why I'm okay with the Colts taking a linebacker this late, if they haven't gotten one already, is because Ballard has brought in a lot of good linebackers late in drafts. Again, personal feelings, how you feel about Zaire Franklin, whatever. And yes, he does have a lot of missed tackles. Dude has to clean it up. But Zaire Franklin has been very good for us since being here. EJ Speed, doubt he makes it back here, but he has been a pretty solid linebacker for us. Remember Bobby Okereke in the 3rd round. You talk about some other guys that are on this roster right now that were late draft picks that could potentially play. Jalen Carlisle was late. So, Ballard has done a great job of getting value at the linebacker position late in drafts. So I would 100% take one at that point later in that if you can. And then going to the 5th round, this is where I would start saying, look for the running back. I could see the Indianapolis Colts taking a running back much sooner than this. But again, there is a lot of good running backs in this draft, guys. A lot of good running backs in this draft class. So there could be a lot of running backs that fall. Or you could see a cluster of them get taken early and then a bunch of them fall late because people have already gotten their running backs, right? So that is something where I could very well see that happening. So running back, it could be a great value positional piece late in the draft because, like I said, there's a bunch of them that I could name off. So that would be for the 5th round. And then for the 6th round, you come in and I'm looking again at offensive linemen. I'm looking at just a bunch of different people. There are a few names late in the draft that Chris Ballard has gotten some great value late in drafts with offensive linemen. So go back to it, double dip, make sure you have a guy at a spot that you want, okay? And then for 7th round, for me, it's just best player available at that point. Is there a player at any position that you feel could be a great piece for you at that particular spot? Don't entirely know what it is that would be, but it could be any position, and Ballard just take the best one available. So breaking it down, 1st round, Colts should be focusing on tight end because of the need at the position and the quality of guys early. Round 2 should be looking at offensive line. You're going to have a few guys available at that spot. And regardless of whether or not you find a future starter at right guard or not, should be focusing on getting someone early to make sure you have depth. Third round, defensive tackle. This is a strong defensive tackle class, even in the mid rounds. Definitely should be looking for it there. Round 4, there's going to be some good mid-round linebackers available, and Ballard has been able to draft them late. So I really like the option at linebacker in round 4. Round 5, like I said, great value even at round 5. They may not be elite ones, but they definitely have people at round 5 at running back that will still be available that can do some good things for Indianapolis behind Jonathan Taylor. Round 6, I go back again to the offensive line. And then round 7, best player available. You notice I didn't even approach secondary. Now, they could take a safety late. They could take a safety early. Doesn't really matter. But again, I thought of it as you don't really need the secondary help at the moment. When you added Charvarius Ward and you added Cameron Bynum, you have 5 corners available at this moment, actually even 6. And then safety could be one. I didn't even mention edge, which again, if the Colts don't take edge early, I doubt that they take one at all. So that's just my points on it. So let me know your guys' thoughts on this. How do you feel about my positional mock draft? Who would you be approaching in specific rounds? Not specific players, but certain positions. What positions would you be looking to address in which rounds? Let me know in the comments down below. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, Colts.